it says find two solutions and give your answers in degrees from 0 to 360 degrees. It says sine theta equals 1/2. So here's what I would like you to do. I would like you, and we can do this somewhere below. A, B, and C. I would like you to sketch your two special right triangles, your 30-60 and your 45-45. So go ahead and jot those down. All right, so here's where, like, after time, I'm going to expect you to start to remember these. But for now, we're going to keep doing this. So when you look at sine theta equals 1/2, you should recognize out of the two triangles, where is sine theta equals 1/2? In which of the two triangles would you find it? In the 30-60. So which angle, so here's where you've got to remember, so you're constantly going to SOHCAHTOA and your special right triangles, okay? So which angle gives me opposite over hypotenuse is 1/2? 30. Okay, so now here's the deal. I'm going to start with is my reference angle. So we're going to write down theta prime equals 30 degrees. Then you do all students take calculus. So Cal, in what two quadrants is sine positive? 1 and 2. Then the 30 degrees is my reference angle. Well, in the first quadrant, it is itself, so 30 degrees. Then, William, what's the angle in the second quadrant that's 30 degrees away from the x-axis over there?
150.
Awesome, 150. So these are my two solutions. So here's what your steps are. Determine theta prime. Determine your quadrant or quadrants. And then find your angles. Now remember, I talked yesterday about, as we went around the circle, the x comma y, that the x-coordinate is cosine theta, or cosine t, and the y-coordinate is sine t. Does anybody remember now what was tangent t? Sine over cosine, sine over cosine. All right, so you've got to start like memorizing those, or keep looking at your notes till you get them down. So here's another helpful suggestion. Before you try tonight's homework, look through these notes. We started with example 6, and maybe you can kind of like draw little lines where we did day 1, day 2, day 3. I go back through the very beginning and go through the whole set of notes. But when we write things down like step 1, determine theta prime, then stop and think, what does that mean? That means I have to look at my triangle, so like that's a little thing we're writing down, but you need to think. What does that mean? It means I have to figure out what triangle I'm in using SOHCAHTOA, really reflect. Step 2, determine your quadrants. All students take calculus. Step 3, then find the angles. All right, so now let's look at letter B. Cosine theta equals negative square root 2 over 2. What's theta prime? Awesome. DP, how'd you do it?
Square root 2 over 2. It's easier for me Okay, so I just wrote over 1 over square root 2, so it's numbers in the triangle. And then I just did adjacent was the opposite.
Adjacent over hypotenuse, right? Yeah. Okay, so listen, and I love how you explained that. He said, okay, wait a minute. I know square root 2 over 2 had to have been 1 over square root 2. Is everybody making that connection? Square root 2 over 2 was originally 1 over square root 2. Then he did his SOHCAHTOA, adjacent over hypotenuse, that has to be in the 45-45. Now I'm going to do my all students take calculus. What two quadrants is cosine negative?
2 and 3.
That's in 2 and 3. So now we're going to go 45 degrees away. So do you remember yesterday you can either pop up and look at your circle above the 45's away or figure it out. Take 180 minus 45, 180 plus 45. All right, Emma, what are your two angles then?
You said add 180?
Well, you tell me. If I want to be in the second quadrant, what do you do?
Add it? Or subtract?
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out. So look, let's figure it out together. If I'm at 180 and I want to go backwards, am I going to add or subtract 45?
Subtract it?
Subtract it. Now, don't worry, we still need the adding because that's going to take me into the third quadrant, which I need as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So what would be your two angles then?
225.
225 is the third quadrant. What's the one in the second quadrant? 135. All right. Letter C, secant theta equals 2. All right, I'm a little confused with this one. Not really, but I'm going to pretend, okay? I look at that and say, I don't know what to do. So what do we do? Ideas. Okay, let's play the what do I know game. Mia? Okay, we know that secant and cosine are reciprocals. So this is what I do, and I love math. I love algebra 2. It is so much fun. And so what you want to do is look at this as a game or a puzzle or a mystery. And I'm looking at, okay, when I first look at secant theta equals 2, I don't know what to do. So then I talk to myself and I say, okay, what do I know? I know secant and cosine are reciprocals. All right, now, which triangle is cosine theta equal to 1/2? 30/60. Okay, so then what's theta prime? How? And so you've got to go, okay, so this is where I need to dispel some myths. I have students who think they're just supposed to know stuff. And we don't. We figure them out. So here's what I do. I go to 30 and I say, what's adjacent over hypotenuse? Nope. I'm going to go to 60. Adjacent over, ding, ding, ding. You see? Like you got to try them. We don't just know. So theta prime is 60. Then I do all students take calculus. So, Nick, in what two quadrants is cosine positive?
The first and the fourth.
First and the fourth. So here's how I figure it out. I want to go 60 degrees away from the x-axis. So that's 60 because that's first quadrant. And then I'm going to rotate 60 degrees in from a full rotation. So then, Avery, what would be this angle in the fourth quadrant? 300. All right, I'm going to pause a moment, and I want you to try letter D on your own. Let's see if we're starting to get the hang of it. Okay, I modeled 3 of them. If you're a fast worker, keep going to E and F. If you're a little bit on the uneasy side, let's just try D. Figure out theta prime by looking at the 2 triangles. Figure out what quadrant. All students take calculus. Where is tangent negative? Then figure out your angles. Let's go, let's go. All right, here we go. Drew, what's theta prime?
60.
Woo! 60. We got it. That's awesome. All right, all students take calculus. All right.
Well, yeah.
Humera, what quadrants is tangent negative?
2, 4.
2 and 4. All right, we're 2 for 2. So now we're going to figure out we're 60 degrees away from the x-axis. All right, Lily, give me one of your answers.
120.
Awesome, 120. And Elise, what was your other one? I want 300. You got it.
Yes.
All right, we are clicking. Okay, so, all right, letter E. This one's a little bit tricky. So, cosecant equals negative 2 square root 3 over 3. All right, that's perplexing, but what do I know?
Cosecant is sine.
All right, cosecant is the reciprocal of sine. So, I'm going to flip this over. That still is not looking like what I know. But what could I do here first?
Simplify it to negative 2 over square root 3.
All right, let's simplify that square root 3, okay? Because right now that's bothering me. So that's negative 3 square root 3 over 6, which is negative square. Oh, okay, good. That's something we know, all right? So when that happens to you, if it doesn't look like something you know, one of 2 things can happen. The one thing is that it could be that you need to simplify what you have, okay? The other thing is that's going to happen in example 7 is if it's not on the 2 triangles and it's supposed to be like a unit circle, it could be at one of the quadrantal spots, and that's what example 7 is. So here's what you're going to end up doing. Draw your 2 triangles and the quadrantal 4. And if you can't find it there, then we will learn eventually you can do these on the calculator where if they're not unit circle, okay? We're never going to do unit circle ones on a calculator. You have to know how to do those by hand. All right, so theta prime. All right, what's theta prime here? 60. All students take calculus. Hannah, in what 2 quadrants is sine negative?
The 3rd and 4th.
Good job, 3rd and 4th. Then I need 60 degrees away. And you know what's going to happen when you do enough of these? You start to remember. Sine 30 is 1/2. Sine 60 is radical 3 over 2. Cosine 30 is radical 3 over 2. Cosine 60 is 1/2. Like tangent 45 is 1. Like you just know them because we do them so often. All right, so I'm getting 240 and 300. All right, letter F. Cotangent theta is 1. That means tangent is 1 over 1 or 1. Looking, what's the only way to get TOA to be a 1? 45, 45. So, all students take calculus, and what two quadrants is tangent positive? 1 and 3. Now, the first quadrant is easy because that's 45. Do you remember yesterday, because I knew where we were going, and I said to you, hey, you're 45, 135, 225, 315. Eventually, instead of figuring them out every time, you're going to want to start to remember them. It gets faster. So 45, 135, 225, 315. So third quadrant is the 225. All right, giving me thumbs up, out or down. How do you feel about this now? Up, out, or down? Awesome. Okay, pretty good. So now, example 7. Sine theta equals 0. Well, that's not in one of the two triangles. So here's what you do when you don't have it in a triangle. You're going to real quickly do a little unit circle. And the nice thing is, when you do this so many times, you'll remember it, okay? And you're going to keep looking at your notes, keep looking at your notes, keep writing it down with a set of problems. Please don't do the copy and paste, because when you copy paste, then you're not going to remember. If you physically write it, that helps you remember it, okay? So physically write this out instead of trying to take a lasso of it and duplicate it. All right, so if I want to find sine theta equals 0, and this is between 0 and 360, where on here, so sine t, that's an angle, is the y-coordinate. So where do you see that the y-coordinate is 0?
X-axis.
On the x-axis, but what are my angle names? 0, 180, and 360. Now, I didn't mean to do this on purpose. Let's change these to, instead of the less than or equal to, because I would rather us practice. So change this to or equal to. If it didn't equal it, then you couldn't include 0 or 360. So theta is 0 degrees, 180, and 360. So sine theta is the y-coordinate on the unit circle. All right, try letter B. Take a look around your circle. You want to find where cosine of an angle equals -1. That's definitely not in a 30-60 right triangle or the 45-45. Your options for cosine are 1/2, square root 3 over 2, or square root 2 over 2. All right, anybody got it? What's theta? 180, good job. All you do is you go around, cosine is the x-coordinate. It's 1, 0, -1. All right, tangent theta equals 0. Well, remember, tangent is sine theta over cosine theta. What is the only way for a fraction to equal 0? The numerator is 0. You can't have the denominator 0. That's going to be undefined. So if you see tangent theta is undefined, then that would be where cosine is 0. So I'm going to look again, hey, and then you're just going to go grab letter A's answer. We already did this. That was 0, 180, and 360. Okay, so we are going to stop.